Hi, welcome to Noni's Crafty Kids. I'm Noni. Our project for this video is a Rainbow Loom Bag. Now this one, of course, is huge for rainbow looming, and it's made by linking two rainbow looms together end to end, so it's twice as long. For this video, we're going to make a bag that's just about half that size that you can make on one rainbow loom. The techniques are exactly the same, so instead of wasting your time fast forwarding hours and hours of looping and looping and looping and looping, we'll make the smaller bag that shows the same techniques. Now again, you've probably seen bags like this on Rainbow Loom tutorials already on YouTube, and they're really good. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time repeating what other people have already done quite well. I will be showing you a hint that'll make the bottom stronger, some suggestions for making this different kind of flap that hooks into the bag itself, and we'll talk about these charms, which I'm just crazy about. They're provided by Rainbow Fun Charms, and they come in a bunch of different colors and shapes and designs, but they really make your Rainbow Loom projects totally unique to you. And we'll also talk about different straps you can put on or not put on, however you want to make your bag unique. My friend Lauren brought over her bags. It's made in exactly the same pattern, and she also used one of the Rainbow Fun Charms. She's got the Hello Kitty, and instead of making the little strap, she has a button. And there we go. So her flap comes down that way. And by using a clear bead, this is a clear plastic pony bead, it's almost invisible, so it doesn't distract from her beautiful sparkly kitty. Also want to show you that Lauren crochets a strap for her purse with yarn. That way she's not using up as many of the Rainbow Loom rubber bands as I've been using on mine. Now I have one more to show you. It's also single loom size, also by Lauren, and this one does not have a flap at all, but it does have a decorative button. So this is the size that we're making in our video. Okay, this is definitely a bag for a girl. Actually, it's a bag for a grandma. But I'm going to show you today making a bag with camouflage colors. So just because this looks like a girly bag, don't be put off. We're going to make a smaller bag today with a totally different look to it. So let's start. Here's our Rainbow Loom in the configuration that we need to make our bag. The middle one has been removed. We just set that aside. The second thing to notice is how the peg rows are arranged. On the lower row, the openings are going to my left. The upper row, the openings are going to my right. The important point is to have the rows of pegs opening in opposite directions so that one goes to the left and one goes to the right. Okay? That's how you do it. If you are going to be working with two rainbow looms connected like this, you would use the large blue connectors and you would use both of them. putting one up here to hold these and another one down here. And the space in between the peg rows has to remain open. You start by making X's. But here's the difference. I twist my bands twice, okay? Especially the bottom one. Now, I'm going to change colors so you can see a little bit more easily the different bands that we're using, okay? So this is the first X. Next, put a third one like that, going straight across. Not here, because the X has to go on first. Okay, once, twice. The second rubber band, twist it once and twice. And now the third one, once and twice. Now we're going to keep this pattern going all the way down the rainbow loom. If it's a double loom, all the way down to the very end. On a single rainbow loom, you have 13 pegs in each row. If you have a double, you've got 26. So another thing to remember is to be sure you have plenty of rubber bands before you start this project, because it's going to really eat up your rubber bands, but it's worth it. All right, we'll fast forward to the end. And here we are, putting the last set of the base. That's our 13th brown color, our 13th sandy color. This is the 12th green, and so we're going to add one more now to finish off. And there you go. We have the X's and the cross bands. That's your base. Now we'll bring in a fourth color, which is black, and we'll start at one end. It really doesn't matter where you start. We'll just start and go all the way around, down, all the way back the other row, and up again. Okay, and no twisting this time, and just single row. I like these camouflage colors because we have 4 different colors, and you can see exactly where each row is placed with plenty of contrast. Okay, fast forward again. All right, and we're finishing up the placement of the black bands, which are actually the first row of your bag. Now what we want to do before we start looping is to press everything down. By going up the middle of your row, you can press that bottom set down and then bring the top row up higher on your peg. That will allow us to loop everything without getting anything confused. Now you'll see on the end pegs there's only two. That's because of the pattern of the crisscross. So even though that doesn't look right, that is right. All the rest of your pegs have three. Push those down, bring that up, push those down. Now this is a good thing to do all the way through your bag. Separate the lower bands from the upper bands, and that will make it all much easier for you. Here we are again at the end, and once again there's two instead of three. All right, now we start looping. And again, it doesn't matter where you start. You can begin here or here, just as long as you always start at one end and work all the way around your loom. Now, I find it helpful to place a finger over those top loops so they don't pop out as you're looping the others. Up and okay. That is your basic technique for making the bag. That is your first row. All right, I'm going to use the light cream color, so that will contrast with the black. And as you go up your bag, working your bag, you can use any arrangement of colors that you want. What creates the pattern or the stripes on your bag is how many rows of each color you do next to each other. So down here at the very bottom, I began with gray, and instead of using three different colors the way I have here, I used all gray, which makes a nice looking base for the bag, but it's just a little more difficult to see what I'm doing on video. Then I have two rows of pink, which makes this very distinct row here. Then I alternate just one row of each color this many times, 10 times. So I have 2 rows, 10 rows, that gives me 12 rows up this far. Here I have 5 rows of just gray. Next, 5 rows of just pink, or rows. 5 rows of white. Then back to 5 rows of rows. Rows of rows. Okay, so here we have 40 rows. No, excuse me. 20 rows and 12 rows, so 22 rows here. Then I begin alternating once again, and so it goes back to the striped pattern. That's how you build the pattern that you want in your bag. So here we are now, and I have completed 30 rows on the single loom bag. And if you've noticed there's been some editing on this video, it's because I've had just a little bit of difficulty, including a broken hook. Oh dear. So I'm now using a metal hook, and if I break this, Y'all just send the guys in white coats to pick me up because I won't be safe in public if I break this one. Okay, now I want to tell you, this has not been exceptionally easy. Even though I've done it before, even though I know how to do the techniques, things still go wrong. The difference between those who are successful and those who are not successful is whether or not you give up. So when you make mistakes, don't give up. That's where this little skewer comes in. When you lose a stitch, you take a skewer or any long, thin, pointed tool and come in and catch the stitches below. You can catch them right here where you have the two together. Put one on your stick and then the next and then the next, right down the row on both sides of the mistake. That way you'll be holding your loops, which in knitting we call stitches, on your skewer or your tool. You can remove all of the loops above the mistake until you get down to the row where everything's correct. I found out that the only way I could really fix the situation I was in was to take two skewers, put it all the way through all of the bands on this peg, and a second one all the way through the bands on this peg. And I went down to the first row of brown bands. So I took off what at that point was a black row and two green rows. So I took off 3 entire rows of work to get back to solid looming. That's frustrating, but I want to tell you, losing 3 rows is a lot better than losing 30 rows. So when things go wrong, don't give up. Go back and figure out what went wrong and fix it. All right, so moving on. I've put the last 2 green rows back on, and now we're ready to cast off. So here's the bottom, the middle, and the top. We're going to grab the bottom one, bring it up over, and you can see how it catches all the other bands. Now we're going to go down into the peg, push the top one aside like we would when we're making most of the bracelets, pull the bottom one up through and over the next peg. Now we can bring this one up and off. So this is how we make our completed edge. Now I've removed 1, 2, 3, 4 bands. And we'll keep going all the way across this whole peg row. And cast off. I find that it helps if I make myself a little chant and repeat it. So I come up and over, inside, up, and out. Cast off. Up and over, inside out, and off. Up and over. Did I catch them all? Yes. Inside out, and off. Up and over, inside out, and off. Is it caught? It's caught. We're good. Right. We're going to leave the place marker on these for now. We come over here. Now we only have 2 bands here because of course we haven't brought one from here. So we're just going to do the inside out and off. Here we do the up and over, inside out, and off. And we do the same thing here, up and over. Don't like that. That's correct. Inside out. Now these two don't have any to hook onto, so we're just going to make a double knot. Later on we'll catch that with a C-clip inside the bag, but for now we've made a double knot here, and that holds it secure inside the bag. All right, now here we are with these. So we're just going to make the flap exactly the way we've made these, only there'll only be 6 rubber bands in a row. Now what I want to do, it's like we did the stripes here. I'm going to have orange rubber bands coming up these sides with stripes in here. All right, sounds strange. Stay with me. It will look good. So I'm going to continue the green, 2 more rows. And an orange. Push these down. Now right here, you'll see we have 3 because we brought one of those rubber bands to the forward peg. That's okay. We'll just work with them as if they're 3. We'll bring these up and over and just continue with that. We'll bring all 3 of these up and over. So there's 2, and there's the 3rd. All right, now the rest of these will have 2, like our normal work. All right. This crochet hook is a little smaller than our regular Rainbow Loom tool, so I have to be double sure that I'm grabbing all the bands. Okay, there we go. Push those down. Go to the next row. I'm going to do another row of green before we start horizontal stripes. And my orange. And continue up and over. 2. Let's get it up and over all the way. Yeah. Up and over. 3, 5, 6, and 7. Right. Push them all down. And I'm going to begin changing colors now. So if you want to fast forward, that will be fine. Now you can begin counting the rows that you make on the flap so that you have an idea how long you want it to be. I want my flap to come just about down to this green row here. So if I count it, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 or 18 rows would be just about right. Okay, so I put 2 of the green on, so we're 2 rows, we have 14 to 16 more to go. All right, fast forward. So I'm going to pick up from each end put it over the next one. There. Now, put the next row on, just as usual. Let's see. Let's do this brown. And I just have 2 of those before I put the orange on. Now, pick up the bottom 2, bring it over, and we have 2 more left there. The bottom 2, up and over, just the same way we've been doing it. Okay, push them down, put another row of brown, which will just be 2 rubber bands. And the orange. Bring the bottom 2 up and over. And the reason I left this wide band here is because we have these very nifty charms. If I can get them on here. This is a little alligator. Monkey. Another monkey. And a penguin. All of these come in a single pack in the Rainbow Fun Charms. And I think the one I'm going to use is this horse. I just like that. Very cute. These particular charms come with plastic loops already on them. The charms I used on this bag are attached by threading a rubber band through the loops on the sides. But these have their own, very much like C-clips. Now, I'll show you another reason the charms are particularly useful. This flap wants to curl to the back. That's just the nature, just the same way as this wants to curl down. This wants to curl in. So by taking the charm and attaching this clip to the very edge, I want to get it right about in the middle here, and I want to grab both of the outside rubber bands and get it right into there. And what you can do is move this sideways. You don't want to pull it in and out, but you can move it sideways to open it ever so slightly. So get that band where you want it. There you go. Then bring the same, count your bands so you get the same number, and it's going to be straight. Bring them up and into that C-clip. And now your charm, besides being decorative, holds that flap open so it doesn't curl to the back. Now, the next thing we're going to do as we have on this one, we're going to make this loop attached to the body of the bag. So right about here, we could put a green one right here, or a brown one up a little higher. What do you think? I think I'm going to do the brown one right here in the middle of this stripe. All right. And that is done by making a single chain. And again, we're going to start with a C-clip on the inside. So we'll decide where we're going to put our flap. Okay, I'm going to put it right through this orange stripe. Let's say the outside, right there. Okay. I actually want to come from the inside like this. Grab a loop with the right color. Bring one side in here, and then on the just one stitch apart, bring the other side through as well. So we've got both of them in here, right? We'll do a C-clip, fasten it through those, and then onto a nearby loop if I use the hook. Pull it right through. There. Now, here's my band. I'm going to get another rubber band right through it. There. Let's use the hook. You can do it on your fingers, but since we've got a hook, we might as well use the hook. And then you make a single chain. So that's 1, 2. Three. 4, 5. Now you want it fairly snug. You want it loose enough that you can put the flap down in it easily, but you want it snug enough that it's going to hold the flap without it popping out. Okay, so that's just 5 loops on a single chain. And then we hook it in the same way. Let's put one more loop on here. Then come from the inside of the bag. Get it the same place as the first one, right through there. Bring one side through, come over one stitch, and bring the other side through. Okay, it went through itself and made a slip knot. I'll go back and get that and put the C-clip on it. Oh, I grabbed the nest clip, which is just fine. Grab a stitch, put it on. And there you go. there's your catch. Just like that. I like the look of using double bands on there, but this single band's just fine. Now, I think you know what we're going to do with this one. We're going to grab both of these. Put a C-clip on them and fasten them right down in there. Now, if you want a strap on it, that's what comes next. Now, I'll go ahead and make the strap and then I'll show you how to attach it. The crisscross quadfish is a lot easier to make than it is to pronounce. So don't try to say that name 3 times quickly or you'll trip over your tongue. But it's a new pattern that was developed for the smaller loom, the monster loom that Rainbow Loom has come out with recently. And I like it because it's a nice, sturdy pattern that makes a good strap. And it's very easy to do, and it comes together very quickly. Now, just like I showed you earlier, that you can use books or any kind of support to allow your looming to come out the bottom of your loom, I came up with another thought. This is just a plastic food container. Set your loom over the top of it. Your pattern can come out the bottom, and then you've got room right here in the container for all your rubber bands. So that's kind of a nifty thing to do as well. Okay, for the crisscross quadfish, here's how we do it. We work on 4 pegs with space for the product to come out the bottom, working from left to right. Put straight bands right across, just 2. On your very first bands that you put on, you'll twist this into a figure 8, just like you do on the regular fishtail. Each of these will be twisted, but that's only on your very first round. Okay? So we come and working again from left to right, going clockwise. Lift the bottom bands up and over. Okay? Now there's 2 left on. Push those 2 down. Your next 2 bands, and I'm doing the whole design, the whole pattern, which is 2 sets in the same color. These go on crosswise. Crisscross. This is where the crisscross comes from. So once again, I go from bottom to left and from bottom to right. There's your crisscross. And start on the left and go clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we've got the strap just about long enough. So I'll show you one more set, and then we'll be ready to cast off. Okay, left and right. Begin at the bottom left. Go clockwise, bringing the bottom rubber band up and over the top. Push everything down. Then I'll get the same color. Bottom to left. Bottom to right. Bring the bottom band, well, I started on the right, but we'll still continue clockwise. And that's how you do it. Now, since we're going to cast off, I'm not going to add another rubber band. I'm just going to bring that up and over, coming clockwise. Be sure those aren't twisted. So I get the bottom up and over and up. All right, now I'm just going to bring these onto my hook. And I have to catch that very last one before it unravels. Okay, see that one jumped off the peg before I grabbed it. So I have to put it back through the black loop. So I have 4 bands on my needle, my hook, and I'm going to find 4 spaces right here at the side. So I'll start 1, 2, 3, 4. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come under those 2 rows of the green bands. Okay, come all the way down, do the first green. Grab a green band, pull it through those and through one of the bands on my tool. Then hook that on and come to the next one. Okay, come through. I didn't catch them all. There, get all the green bands. Pick up another, bring it through all of those from the bag, and there we go. This time I'm going to bring it through 2. Okay, and this is the second one, so you should bring it through 1 more, so there's 2 left. Okay, so each time we come through, we're bringing it through another one of these bands from the strap. So those 2 are the new rubber band. These are 2 from the strap. It sounds complicated, but it's a lot easier when you're doing it. Okay, brought it through the next space. The new rubber band. Bring it through all of those bands. Bring it through. There's my 8 bands from the beginning of the strap. Now don't get too excited or too frustrated about choosing the correct 8 loops, because that's not important. You just want to be sure that you have 6 or 8, I like 8, bands over your hook so that you have a secure connection. Now we don't need to go through the whole process of attaching it again, but you're going to do it just like you did on the other side, bringing your hook underneath 2 layers of rubber bands like this, and bringing another joining band through, and you'll do that 4 times, bringing it through 1 set of 2 each time. So you'll have 4 joining bands, and you'll go through 4 spaces and grab 4 sets of 2 on your strap. Well, I'll do that off camera, and then we'll look at the finished bag. Put these bands onto the same clip that I finished the top row of the bag. There. You see that? Everything's caught in that S-clip. Nice and secure. Get the camera to focus here. There we go. nice and secure. So the final loops of this top row and the final loops joining the strap are all caught on this S-clip and tucked inside the bag. And there we go. A finished mini bag made on one rainbow loom. And there's our finished rainbow loom bag made on a single loom. This is the finished rainbow loom bag made on a double loom. And they both are exactly the same method. And they're lots of fun. And the more you work with it, the easier it becomes because you're learning. So thank you very much for watching our tutorial. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, please go down below the screen and click like and subscribe to Noni's Crafty Kids videos because we'll be doing more rainbow looming as time goes by. Thanks a lot, and I'll catch you next time around.